Hello friends, we are discussing about chemical fuels. In the previous session, we have seen what are anti-knocking agents by taking tetraethyl lead, tetramethyl lead as an example. So anti-knocking agents are the chemicals which increases the efficiency of petrol fuel, which mainly uh, increases the anti-knocking property of fuels. We also discussed about unleaded petrol. So petrol without anti-knocking agents like tetraethyl lead is called unleaded petrol. So unleaded petrol will not cause any harmful effect on human beings and plants, no toxicity. So unleaded petrol contains some agents which increases the octane number of petrol. Next topic we discussed about power alcohol. Power alcohol is nothing but mixture of gasoline and alcohol in the ratio 4:1. In power alcohol, petrol is blended with ethyl alcohol. The concentration or the ratio of petrol and ethanol is 4:1. So here the ethyl alcohol is added up to 25% to gasoline. So power alcohol has its own advantages and disadvantages. Power alcohol mainly increases the octane number of fuel, thereby making the fuel to burn easily. The next topic what we have discussed is biodiesel. So oxygenated fuel. So biodiesel is different from ordinary diesel because it is the renewable source. It is obtained from the renewable source of energy. So trans-esterification process is used. Here oils or animal fats are subjected to reaction with methanol to give biodiesel and glycerol. So that synthesis and applications and advantages of biodiesel, we have seen it in the previous session. Today in this session, let us see about fuel cells. What are fuel cells and what are the types of fuel cells we have? Then the difference between fuel cells and batteries. Under that, let us see methanol oxygen fuel cell and solid oxide fuel cell. Now let us see what are fuel cells. Dear students, you know what are fuels. For example, CH3OH, that is methanol, CH3OH. So this CH3OH is the methanol alcohol. So monohydric alcohol, CH3OH. Now this methanol is acting as a fuel because it contains carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, so we can call it as an oxygenated fuel. See, this fuel burns in the presence of oxygen. So if we burn this methanol in the presence of oxygen, what it gives? It gives carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. So we can have the calorific value for this. Okay, the amount of heat produced by burning completely the fuel in the presence of oxygen, what we call it as calorific value. So this fuel is burned in the presence of oxygen to give carbon dioxide plus heat and like that fuel in normal combustion process. Now, if this fuel on burning produces electrical energy, then we say that chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. So we have galvanic cells. We have galvanic cells. So which converts chemical energy into electrical energy. So chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. So fuel cells are nothing but galvanic cells in which chemical energy in the form of fuel, for example methanol, is directly converted into electrical energy by means of redox reactions involving fuels and oxidants. See here, methanol is the fuel and oxidant, of course, it is oxygen, environmental oxygen. So just like batteries or just like all other galvanic cells, fuel cells are also galvanic cells. What are galvanic cells? Galvanic cells which converts chemical energy to electrical energy. So energy stored in the form of chemicals. Energy stored in the form of chemicals. So I'll write CHE, chemical, is converted into electrical energy. So chemical energy to electrical energy conversion. Energy present in chemicals is converted to electrical energy. So here chemical is methanol, oxygen is oxygen. So methanol undergoes burning. So oxidation and reduction reaction is there. As a result, electricity is produced. That is the important aspect. So we are getting electricity from this fuel by the process of burning using this oxidant. So chemical energy is converted. So chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. Now fuel cells give direct current as long as fuel and oxidant are supplied. So here we need to have a container containing fuel. Now this is the container containing the fuel. For example, we can take hydrogen is also as a fuel. Hydrogen gas is a fuel. Okay. Then in another container we have oxygen, that is oxidant. Okay. So hydrogen fuel, then oxygen fuel. So it is connected to a chamber. These two connected to a chamber. Okay. For example, we have a chamber here connected to a chamber. So supplying oxygen, supplying hydrogen gas. Now here we have anode and cathode. Now here it burns to give, of course, if it is hydrogen, then oxygen, it gives water as a product. So redox reaction takes place. So during this redox reaction, this chemical energy is converted into electrical energy, just like battery it works, just like other galvanic cell it works. So let me define once again. Fuel cells are nothing but galvanic cells. So here also chemical energy of the fuel is directly converted into electrical energy by means of redox reaction. So reactions involving between fuels and oxidants. So fuel burns in the presence of oxygen. Okay. As a result, chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. Remember, these fuel cells are also galvanic cells. Why galvanic cells? Which converts chemical energy into electrical energy. Now let us see what is the working principle of any fuel cell. So here fuel is required. So fuel may be hydrogen gas, methanol gas, or ethanol gas, or it may be a producer gas, it may be nitrogen, etc. Now there is anode reaction and cathode reaction, just like we have seen in the case of batteries. Now at anode, fuel, for example, if we take methanol, it is oxidized. Okay, oxidation takes place. So what is meant by oxidation? So oxidation gives what? Electrons. So if electrons are produced, it's meant oxidation. So we have oxidized product. So fuel is oxidized to give electrons. So this is the oxidation reaction at anode, followed by cathode reaction. So what is the cathode reaction? At cathode, the oxidant gets reduced. So what is the oxidant? Oxygen. So it means that at anode we supply fuel. At anode we supply fuel. It undergoes oxidation. Then at cathode we supply oxidant that undergoes reduction. So reduced product is formed. Reduced product is formed. So we have anode. For example, let us say this is anode and this is cathode. Okay, let me write this one as anode. I'll write anode A. Okay, then I'll write this one is cathode C. I'll write. Now the fuel is supplied. So the fuel is supplied this reaction. So for example, fuel is oxidized. So this is at this particular electrode. At anode, fuel is supplied and it undergoes oxidation. So electrons are produced here. Electrons are negative. So electrons are produced here at this anode. Now the oxidant, that means what? Oxygen is supplied from this end. Oxygen is supplied. Oxygen is supplied. Oxygen is supplied at this end. Now this oxygen receives electron. So it comes like this and it receives electron and it gives the reduced product. Reduced product is formed. So the electrical output is a result of flow of electrons, as you know, from anode to cathode through the external circuit. So what is electricity? The electrons produced at anode, it is continuously moving like this in the external circuit from anode to cathode. That we call it as, of course, electrical output. So remember, any fuel cell works. So what is the requirement for chemical fuel cell? We require fuel. So fuel, as I said, it may be hydrogen gas, it may be methanol gas or ethanol gas, or it may be carbon monoxide plus hydrogen gas, nitrogen gas, etc. So any fuel we can use it. Any fuel which burns to give carbon dioxide and product, so water or oxides. So fuel is required. Then we require oxidant, that is oxygen. Then anode is required. Then cathode. So what is the reaction at anode? Anode means oxidation. So here what is undergoing oxidation? Fuel. For example, if we consider methanol fuel, it undergoes oxidation. What is meant by oxidation? Loss of electron. So electrons are produced at anode. Electrons are produced at anode. So this electron is moving to the external circuit. Where it is moving? It is moving towards the cathode. What is cathode? Cathode means reduction. So what is undergoing reduction here? Oxidant, that is oxygen. So oxygen is receiving electron. Oxygen is receiving electron, n number of electron. As a result, reduced product is formed. So this is how the working principle. So the electrical output is the result of flow of electrons. So continuous flow of electrons from anode to cathode through the external circuit. So here oxygen is supplied to the cathode, fuel is supplied to the anode. Now in between the anode and cathode, the internal connection, it is very much required, just like we have seen in galvanic cell. What we use? Electrolyte is used. Electrolyte is used. So here also this place is filled with electrolyte. So here we have electrolyte. I'll write E. Electrolyte is used here. So electrolyte is used here. So electrolyte, then anode, cathode, then fuel, and then oxidant. This is how it works. Now let us see what are the advantages of fuel cells. So what are the advantages of fuel cells? So fuel cells are galvanic cells, just like already ordinary batteries. Now these fuel cells are also galvanic cells. So what does battery do? Which converts chemical energy into electrical energy. What does fuel cells do? It also converts chemical energy into electrical energy. Now in the case of ordinary batteries, there is redox reaction. Here also there is redox reaction. But in the case of fuel cells, the fuel is burned in the presence of oxygen. So that burning, oxidation is not there. Normal oxidation process, electron conversion and taking is there. Oxidant is not involved there. But in the case of fuel cells, oxidant is involved. So we have ordinary batteries. So we call it as conventional batteries. So compared to the conventional batteries, the high efficiency of energy conversion process. So energy conversion, that means from chemical energy to electrical energy. For example, in the case of battery, if we consider the energy conversion maybe 50% or 60%, that means whatever the chemical we use in the form of energy is not completely transferred into electrical energy, because the transformation, during the transformation, some amount of energy may remain in the form of reactant only. But in the case of fuel cells, as this process involves normal oxidation, burning of fuel in the presence of oxygen, the efficiency of energy conversion is very high. So it is about 75% energy conversion, 75%. Then one more thing is they are eco-friendly, as the products of the overall reactions are not toxic and hence pose no pollution problems. So if we consider hydrogen as the chemical, H2 as the chemical, hydrogen gas, okay, then this hydrogen burns in the presence of oxygen. So what is the product formed? So hydrogen, it burns to give oxygen. What is the product formed? H2 is the product, is it not? So H2O, water is the product. So whether water is toxic? No, right? So hydrogen is the fuel, product formed is water. So water formed, it is eco-friendly. That is what? Eco-friendly products. So if it contains methanol, if it is methanol, what are the products formed? Carbon dioxide and water. So carbon dioxide is also eco-friendly. It is non-toxic gas. Therefore, whatever the fuels we burn in fuel cell, it produces compounds or products. Okay, it is not toxic, not going to harm the environment, or we say eco-friendly. So products are not non-toxic in nature. So when it is non-toxic, there is no question of environmental pollutions. It may be water pollution or soil pollution or air pollution, or it may be the toxicity to human beings or plants. So all these problems are not there. But what about in the case of conventional batteries? If you consider average Igni for Duracell or Sony or Panasonic or lead acid battery anything. So after the usage, you'll throw it. So there is problem, non-biodegradable we call it as. It won't degrade. So that biodegradation is not there. Why? Because it may induce toxicity into the environment. Why? Because products formed are chemical compounds. Sometimes the complex compounds, they are not easily degraded. So they are not eco-friendly, or it induces toxicity in the environment. So it may create air pollution, water pollution, and air pollution, etc. But these fuel cells are eco-friendly and will not cause any pollution problems. Why no pollution problems? Their fuels are burned. Even the energy conversion is very high. So whatever the fuel we use, it burns completely to give the product. And product formed also water and simple carbon dioxide. So how the water, how the carbon dioxide is produced, what are the products from that we'll see in the next uh, example we'll see. They can produce direct currents for long periods at a low cost. Recharging of fuel cells is not needed. So direct current, DC current is produced for long time. What does it mean long time? As far as we supply uh, cathode component, like in cathode what we supply? Oxidant. What we supply in the anode? We supply the fuel. So as far as we supply fuel and oxidant continuously to anode and cathode, it works. So that is what it works means. So it can produce direct current for long period. It is not like conventional batteries. Then here recharging of fuel cells is not required. The batteries, one in case of batteries, so batteries are galvanic cells. So the battery, we what we do, so after discharging we go for recharging. So that recharging is not required. Here we required only the fuel, then oxidant. So as far as you supply these two, it works to produce DC current. So no moving parts and so elimination of wear and tear. So here we need not have to move it apart, and it's very simple. So compared to the conventional cells, these fuel cells have these advantages. Let me go through once again. High efficiency of energy conversion process. Then they are eco-friendly. Why? Because product formed are non-toxic and not causing any air pollution problems. And direct current is produced for long period. So at a low cost. That is also very important. Then recharge is not required. Then no moving parts. Then when it comes to limitations of fuel cells, because each and every product, each and everything what we produce, what we manufacture has a limitations. For example, cell phone that what you are using today. So even it has the limitations. So you may have to recharge maybe once in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, or it may be if you are using regularly, you may have to recharge in 24 hours. You cannot, in a single recharge, you cannot use it for 1 hour. That is one limitation, right? Then memory and the electricity required. So it is you cannot recharge it with the particular low voltage. So minimum voltage is required in order to recharge it. So then heating effect may be there, it may get heated, and all these are the limitations or disadvantages. Like that, in the case of fuel cells also, we have limitations. The electrode used is platinum, silver, or alloys of noble metals, which are costly. So that's what we said, anode is required and cathode is required. So this anode or cathode are generally, very high cost metals, noble metals. Noble metals like platinum. Platinum is very costly. Silver is also costly. So that is the limitations. So that means we cannot work with ordinary iron or copper electrodes. We need these electrodes, platinum, silver, or alloys of noble metals, which are costly. They are not abundant as like iron or copper or zinc, etc. The power generated is moderate, so we cannot have very high power generation using fuel cells. So we have secondary batteries and rechargeable batteries that we can, battery is nothing but arrangement or when we connect the galvanic cells in series or parallelly, then the resulting structure, what we call it as unit, we call it as battery. So resulting setup is called battery. So that battery setup we can do it. We can connect so many galvanic cells together as per our requirement. But here in the case of fuel cells, the power generation is moderate, or we say it is limited. Now let us quickly go through what is the difference between fuel cells and conventional cells. So fuel cells we have seen just now. We know batteries already studied in the second module, batteries. So what is the difference? What is similarity? First of all, let us see similarity. What they are. We are going to discuss about the difference. First, let us understand what are these fuel cells and batteries. So fuel cells and batteries. So both are galvanic cells. What are galvanic cells? Which converts chemical energy into electrical energy. That's what. Now, chemical energy. In the case of fuels, what is the chemical used? Fuels used. I told you hydrogen fuel is used, methanol fuel, ethanol fuel, etc. are used. In the case of batteries, what we use? So we have anode, then we have cathode, then we have electrolytes. So here the anode oxidation, cathode reduction, then electrolyte very much required for the transport of ions, and the internal connection we use salt bridge, etc. Now, in the case of fuels, we have fuel, then the oxidant, fuel and oxidant, then we have cathode and anode unit. Now, in the case of batteries, the anode itself undergoing oxidation possible, the anode being the metal itself undergoing oxidation. But here, in the case of fuel cells, anode is nothing but metal, where adsorption of this chemical fuel takes place. Now, this fuel is oxidized. Anode is the supporting and it aids for oxidation. So anode is the site where oxidation takes place. Cathode is the site where reduction takes place. But in the case of batteries, anode being the metal directly undergoes oxidation, and cathode also being the direct component undergoes reduction. So that is the difference. Now, fuel cells, reactants are fed from outside and the products are removed constantly. For example, I told you in case of fuel cell, you require maybe two cylinders. One is containing the fuel, other one containing the oxidant. So fuel and oxidant are placed outside and they are connected into anode and cathode and they are supplied from outside. It is not a simple single unit. So you have got different components there. You are connecting it. Just like you are cooking at home. What are the requirement for cooking? You require LPG cylinder. Then LPG cylinder is connected to your stove. So that burner connected to that. So here fuel is supplied. So as far as you supply LPG, you can create flame. You can burn it. So you can cook it. So same way here in the case of fuel cells also, you require fuels and oxidants separately. They are fed from outside. So that feeding of fuel and oxidant from outside. But when you consider a ordinary battery, so here in the case of ordinary battery, the chemicals are not supplied from outside. It is already stored. So reactants are already there in the form of a compact battery. So here reactants are not supplied continuously. Reactants are the integral part of the battery. For example, if you consider zinc manganese dioxide battery, so zinc is anode, okay, then you have manganese dioxide acting as, of course, cathode. Zinc is the anode. So this zinc metal is the reactant. That zinc is directly undergoing oxidation to give Zn2 plus 2 electron. Is it not? The electron is migrated towards the cathode and the reduction takes place. That is what happens in the case of batteries. Fuel cells do not store chemical energy, because energy is not stored, it is supplied. So fuel cells are energy conversion devices. So here chemical energy is not stored. Instead, energy is converted from chemical energy to electrical energy. But in the case of battery, so when you imagine you have a battery in your hand. So that battery is nothing but what? It is chemical energy stored. So that device is nothing but what? Chemical energy stored there, and which converts chemical energy to electrical energy when you connect to a external source like a bulb or to electronic item. Then circuit becomes open, then continuous of migration of electrons from anode to cathode takes place. They store chemical energy. Batteries are energy storage devices, you have to remember. Then about fuel cells, they offer high energy conversion. That's what we told, right? 75% energy from the reactant is converted into product. But that is not happening in the case of battery. Efficiency of battery is low. For example, let us take 100 grams of chemical. 100 grams of chemical. Let us say 100 gram of fuel. Okay, 100 gram of fuel. So when fuel is oxidized in the presence of oxygen, carbon dioxide is produced, water or products are formed. So let us say 75 to 80% of whatever chemical fuel you are using, it is converted into product. 70%. That is what we call it as efficiency. Energy is there in the form of chemical, but it has to be converted into the product side. So whatever the chemical energy is there, around 70% of that chemical energy is converted into electrical energy in the case of fuel cells. But that efficiency of a battery is low, maybe 50 to 60%, less than, maybe 10 to 20% less than fuel cells. That is also makes the huge difference. Why? Because the energy may be retaining in the form of reactant. If it is reversible cell, energy from reactant to product and product to reactant, once it comes back also, the energy conversion is there. So if the battery is weighing, maybe let us say it weighs about 200 gram, that 200 gram chemical, entire 200 gram is not going to convert from reactant to product to reactant. If it is reversible, that is not happening. Energy efficiency conversion is less in the case of battery, but it is good in the case of fuel cells. Then fuel cells operate as long as the reactants and are supplied to the electrodes from outside and do not need recharging. So recharging is not required. So reactants has to be supplied. So in fuel cells, what are the reactants? Reactants are fuel, then oxidant. Fuel and oxidant. If we consider hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, hydrogen is the fuel, oxygen is the oxidant. So whatever involved in the reactant side, we call it as reactants. So hydrogen gas, then oxygen is the reactant. On burning, it gives the product. So reactant side, whatever is there, it has to be supplied. So that is what. So as far as you supply this reactant, it works. Where you have to supply? Fuel has to be supplied towards the anode. Then oxidant has to be supplied to the cathode. So it is supplied from outside, and the recharging is not required. But in the case of batteries, so we said stored energy storage devices. Batteries are energy storage devices. So as far as that reactant or energy in the form of stored energy is consumed, it works. Okay. So for example, if we have around 50 grams of chemical stored in the form of energy, only that is utilized. You are not supplying it from outside. So it may end energy conversion, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. After some time, the entire energy, whatever in the form of chemical that is stored, it is converted. Then it has to be, if it is recharging, then you have to recharge it. Once you have to, if you want another discharging, you have to recharge it. So operate until reactants stored in it are completely used up, and secondary batteries need recharging. For example, we are having food. So the food enters into the digestive system and it breaks down and finally it gives glucose. For example, morning, let us say morning at 8 o'clock, you are producing around 20 grams of glucose in your body. 20 grams of glucose. So that 20 grams becomes 19 grams, 18 grams, like that 17, and finally it comes to lower and lower and lower. It may retain at 1 gram, 2 gram. Then by the time you have to eat, so entire energy is utilized there. So like that, in the case of battery, so you have to recharge it. By that time you have to recharge it. You have to bring it back from the product side to reactant side. Then when it comes to toxicity, In case of fuel cell, no toxic species are formed in fuel cell. Toxic chemicals are not formed in the case of fuel cells. That's what we said earlier. Fuel cells use compounds like carbon dioxide or water. They are non-toxic, non-harmful, not going to cause any pollution, or it is more eco-friendly. So eco-friendly uh, for fuel cells. But these chemicals, energy storage devices, batteries, it contains chemicals. Now, these chemicals are converted into another form of chemical after discharging. Therefore, these chemicals are not renewable source or biodegradable. So it can cause problems, or it may induce toxicity. Therefore, less eco-friendly. So as far as possible, while manufacturing the battery itself, so we may follow some guidelines, and we see through that the battery will have a less toxic effect on the environment, human beings, plants, and animals. But still, batteries, we cannot make it completely eco-friendly. Not possible. Why? Because we use metals, then metal compounds, then electrolytes. They are all chemicals. One or the other way, it will have some toxicity in the environment. It can lead to some environmental problems, or it can create some pollutants in the environment. Therefore, they are less eco-friendly. Let us just revise quickly. So here reactants are fed from outside. Here reactants are integral part of the battery, and they do not store chemical energy, but batteries store chemical energy. They are storage devices. Here energy conversion efficiency is very high, but here it is low. So here it operates as long as the reactants and are supplied from outside. Now here no need to supply it. So here it works as far as that stored chemicals are used up. So no toxicity in the case of fuel cells because product formed are eco-friendly, and here the toxicity is there. Therefore, they are less eco-friendly. This is about the difference between fuel cells and batteries. Dear friends, now let us see a methanol oxygen fuel cell. Now here we have the setup schematic sketch of methanol oxygen fuel. So here you can see from this side, left hand side, see methanol CH3OH. Okay, it is passed or it is fed from this end, okay, along with water, methanol plus water. Okay, and here we have the device, or the anode component and cathode component. See here it is anode, so we are supplying fuel. Now this is the cathode component, we are supplying oxidant. So oxidant is what? Oxygen. Oxidant is oxygen. So now this is the setup. So here electron is flowing from left to right. So this is anode, and right side we have cathode. So here the fuel is methanol. So methanol means CH3OH. 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 Monohydric alcohol. Methanol. Okay, CH3OH. Methanol. CH3OH. Methanol. So methanol is fed into this chamber. This is the fuel. Now what is oxidant? Oxidant is oxygen. Already written there, but to understand, so I'm just writing it. So oxygen is supplied from this end. Oxygen is supplied from this end. Okay. So oxygen is supplied from the here. Methanol is oxygen. Methanol is supplied from here. So anode is there. Porous nickel electrode with the platinum palladium catalyst. So impregnated. So impregnated means it is fused within porous nickel electrode, is fused with the platinum palladium catalyst. Then cathode is porous nickel electrode coated with silver catalyst. So earlier we discussed, like, electrodes used are costly. They are noble metals here. So that is the example. See, here we can see platinum, then we can see silver. So here the oxidation and reduction taking place at the surface of the electrodes. So electrodes plays very important role here. So here anode, we have a nickel electrode, okay, and coated with platinum and palladium catalyst. So this methanol comes inside and it absorbs on the surface. Adsorption on the surface takes place. And here oxygen coming inside and it is absorbed on the surface. Oxygen is adsorbed on the surface. So adsorption is there. Oxygen from this end. Adsorption. So fuel is methanol, CH3OH. Oxidant is O2. Okay, should be O2, oxygen. So, or we say air. So pure air is applied. Why? Because for burning, air is required. It contains mainly oxygen. So oxygen is the gas which helps in burning. So air is applied. Then the electrolyte. So here we have electrolyte to transport of ions. Okay. Then product has to form, right? The ionic species has to combine. For that, we require electrolyte. So electrolyte is sulfuric acid. So anode, then cathode, then fuel, then we have oxidant, then electrolyte. So nickel electrodes, two nickel electrodes, one is coated with platinum palladium acting as anode, and another nickel electrode here coated with silver. It is acting as a cathode. The fuel is methanol. It is fed from this side. Oxidant is oxygen. It is fed from this side. Now here we have electrolyte, that is sulfuric acid. So here what happens? Oxidation takes place. Methanol undergoes oxidation to give oxidized product. What happens here? Reduction takes place. So oxygen is receiving electron and reduction takes place. So oxidation and reduction. Now let us see what are the reactions involved in the case of methanol oxygen fuel cell. So here we have the reactions that involved in the case of methanol oxygen fuel cell. So methanol is the fuel, oxygen is the oxidant or air. So methanol burns in the presence of oxygen. As a result, chemical energy is directly converted into electrical energy. So it is called a galvanic cell. So galvanic cell where fuel is oxidized to product. As a result, electricity is produced. So electricity, DC power is produced because of the oxidation of fuel is called fuel cell. So at anode I said methanol, that is CH3OH. It is along with the water. So methanol in water. It gives carbon dioxide plus 6H plus electrons. See, electrons are produced. Therefore, this is oxidation. So this reaction is oxidation. Why? 6 electrons are produced. How electrons are produced? By the oxidation of methanol. See, methanol is oxidized to carbon dioxide. Okay, this methanol is oxidized to carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. And water. It gives H plus 6 electrons. So reactant to product side. What is found? 6 electrons are found. So this is oxidation. Okay. At cathode. So this electron is used up here. 6 electrons used up. You can see here, right? 6 electrons produced at anode is used up in the cathode. In the presence of acid, 6H plus means what? Acidic. Electrolyte is there, right? Sulfuric acid. This is what? Oxygen. So this is fuel. This is oxidant. So 3/2 O2. 1.5 oxygen in acidic medium with the 6 electrons. What it gives? Water as the product. You can see water is formed. H2O. Water is formed as the product. Now what is the overall reaction? methanol. So what gets cancelled? See, this 6 electron and this 6 electron gets cancelled. Then what we have? Water is there. See, one water is there here. Then one water will cancel here. Okay. Then we have methanol, CH3OH. Then we have 1.5 oxygen gas. Correct. Then this 6H plus will cancel. Then what will have? Product carbon dioxide we have. Then we have 2 water. So what about these products? Carbon dioxide and water product formed. Eco-friendly. So they are non-toxic, eco-friendly, carbon dioxide and water. Okay, carbon dioxide and water are formed as product. Neither carbon dioxide nor water is toxic. They are environmental friendly or eco-friendly, or we can call it as non-toxic compound. Of course, carbon dioxide to an extent of 0.03% is a tolerable limit in the environment. If it goes beyond that, then it can cause some extent pollution, carbon dioxide pollution. Then what are the applications of this methanol oxygen fuel cell? It is used in military applications and in large scale power production. So this is about the applications. So when the question is asked, what are fuel cells, and write a note on methanol oxygen fuel cell, then you need to write all these things. You need to explain, methanol oxygen fuel cell by writing what is anode, what is cathode, what are the fuel used, what is the oxidant, what is the electrolyte. So separately you can write like this. Then you need to draw the diagram. It contains anode, cathode, what is the fuel, what is the oxidant, everything. Okay, that you have to explain it, the construction, how it is done and everything. Then you have to explain the reactions. One is anode reaction, other one is cathode reaction, then over the overall reaction. So it is more advantageous to use fuel cells compared to conventional batteries. Why? Because of course batteries are galvanic cells and fuel cells are also galvanic cells, which converts chemical energy to electrical energy. So batteries are chemical storage devices. Here they do not store chemicals, so they need to activation. So in military applications, so we need to have continuous constant supply of electricity, direct current. So in militaries we cannot depend upon batteries. So they are the storage devices, right? But here we can have fuel and oxidant and continuous supply. As far as we supply fuel and oxidant, and they gives the energy. In the case of for a large scale production also, we can make use of these fuel cells. Next, let us see about solid oxide fuel cells, SOFC. So solid oxide. So the name solid oxide, because of the oxide content, it is used. Solid oxide or ceramics are used as in electrolyte. So here the electrolyte used is solid oxides or ceramics. Why the solid oxides or ceramics are used? Because as an electrolyte, because now here operating temperature, this solid oxide fuel cells has the capacity of operating at extremely high temperature like 600 to 1000 degrees Celsius. For example, if we need to generate a DC current near the furnace where the temperature beyond 600 degrees Celsius, then we can make use of the solid oxide fuel cells, SOFC. So this fuel cell is called solid oxide fuel cells for a simple reason is that solid oxide or ceramics are used as an electrolyte. So why do we use the ceramic or solid oxide as an electrolyte? Because here these cells operate with very high temperature. So it should not decompose. Electrolyte should not decompose at higher temperature, 600 or 1000 degrees Celsius. That is the intention. Now here in SOFC also, the fuel is oxidized to carbon dioxide and water for the product, and chemical energy is converted to uh, electrical energy. Just like methanol oxygen fuel cell, this also works principle is same. What is the difference? Only the electrolyte is different. So electrolytes are solid oxides or ceramics. Why electrolytes not ordinary? In the case of methanol oxygen fuel cell, ordinary electrolyte sulfuric acid is used. But here solid oxide or ceramic is used. There, hence the use, the property of this fuel cell is different. Application is also different. So remember, the solid oxide fuel cell can operate at very high temperature. Now it is just like a methanol oxygen fuel cell. Here also fuel is required, oxidant is oxygen, then electrolyte is there, that is solid oxide or ceramic oxide. So it is the device once again which converts chemical energy to electrical energy. See here in this picture we have what is solid oxide fuel cell. Okay, and anode is a porous composite made of nickel zirconium ceramic. So here nickel and zirconia component forming as an anode. So anode means the oxidation. Cathode. So we have strontium doped lanthanum magnetite. So which is with more tendencies for oxygen reduction. So cathode we have. Then electrolyte. So zirconia doped with yttria or yttria stabilized zirconia. So here is the most widely used electrolyte. So this ceramic component or metal oxide as an electrolyte. So that is the important aspect of this solid oxide fuel cells. So here fuel, let us take hydrogen as the fuel. Okay, hydrogen gas fuel coming in there and coming out in the form of water. Here oxidant, that is oxygen, coming out in the form of course product. So this is the electric current produced. So it can be used at very high temperature. Solid oxide fuel cell. Now let us see the reactions and applications. So reactions at anode and cathode. So anode means oxidation. So first let us take anode reaction. See anode, hydrogen gas, then oxygen in the form of O2 minus. So oxide, but because here anode oxide. What is oxide? It is that's what electrolyte. It is oxides. So solid oxides. Okay, oxide. So that oxide ion combining with H2 to give water plus 2 electron. The electron is found here. Solid oxide with hydrogen to give this. And what is cathode reaction? Oxygen. Okay. Then it combines with 2 electron to give O2 minus. Then what is the overall reaction? H2 plus half O2 to give water. So water is formed as a product. So applications. So in industries, power generation, transportation for truck and telecom towers. So especially in the industries where the temperature is very high, so near the furnace and in the transportation of truck and the telecom towers, where it is exposed to very high temperature. There we use a solid oxide fuel cell. So here solid oxide with the hydrogen generates electron. Now this electron is used up like this. So this is about the reaction. So whatever the O2 minus absorbed is produced at cathode, and the overall reaction we have H2 plus half O2 to give water. This is about a solid oxide fuel cell. So with that we come to the conclusion of what we wanted to discuss under this video lecture. In the next video lecture, let us see about the important source of energy in the form of sunlight. So photovoltaic cells. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Thank you.